Okay, so welcome. We're gonna start now. We are going to call this series the Runarcana Academy because we are doing a bunch of introductory content into Runarcana, how the system works, and things of that nature. Last time we created some basilisks. We did a regular basilisk, and then we did a greater basilisk using the new monster system, or creature system in Runarcana. So we're going to open up the Runarcana wiki, which really I should have bookmarked at this point. And then we're going to take a look at 0.96. Actually, really quick, I want to see if they have added any new creatures. And I am unsure. I'm going to guess not. So we're going to go over to our creature thing, and we're going to create today. We have a few goals, and our goals are to create 2 reasonable encounters for a level 1 party. So we're going to add a new tab. We're going to call it the Elamite General Bestiary because we're creating a new one, and we're going to need our little template. And we're going to make 2 of these. Now, for today, we're going to be doing CR1, and then we're also going to be making both a soldier and whatever they call the level 2 version, which is a grunt. So our goal is a grunt and a soldier. So for CR number 1, we know that we want this stuff, which I'm just going to paste down here. And then we also know that they are 9, 25, 19, and 50 XP. Now, we're going to be making some wolves. We've got a couple other options, and there's a lot of types of wolves here. So for our types of wolves, this isn't the page that we're going to want. Please go back. There we go. For our subspecies, we've got a gray wolf, a Murk wolf, and a Rhymefang wolf. We're going to do a Murk wolf because this is what people are generally more familiar with. So Murk wolves are mammalian creatures that are magically altered by runic magic energy scattered across Valoran. So maybe we have a wolf. We're just going to call it a wild wolf. And this is going to be our grunt. And then we're going to have our soldier be our dire wolf. Nope, not our dire wolf, our Murk wolf. So what do we know about Murk wolves? Anything here that is helpful? We have a greater Murk wolf, which has a 2-headed mutant. So maybe we're also going to do an elite. Probably won't do all of them at once, but we've got a greater Murk wolf. So that means we've got 3 things that we want to accomplish today, and I think that we can make those happen. Hair color, we don't care. Skin color, we don't care. Eye color, don't care. None of these things matter. Physiology. All right, live near caves or dense forests. Fur, depending on how much it was altered by magic. Either a light brown, don't care. Some Murk wolves are born with 2 heads. Killer greater Murk wolf as well as smite. Okay. Cool. So none of that tells us anything that is useful for our creation. So the things that we want to know and things we want to be true are that we have, let's see, we know that they are dexterous. We know that they have fur and not a thick hide. We know that they are only somewhat somewhat durable, and then moderate strength, I think. So I think that that's going to be where we rock with. So let's take a look at our stat block example from last time, and we're going to model it after that. So the first thing we're going to look at, we've got our name, we've got what rank it is or what role it is, and our challenge rating. So we've got a CR1 creature, and another CR1 creature. And this song has lyrics, which is not what I want. There we go. Then, after we've identified what our name, our role, and our challenge rating are, now we're going to look to our type, subtype, descriptor, and size. Now, for all of these, we are looking at beasts, and then I think we're going to do a normal size for the first one, and then large for the next 2. So we're going to go over to our sizing chart, which is right down at the bottom, I guess. There we go. Our size chart. So our first one we're going to do is we have a medium beast, and then we're going to have 2 large beasts. So we've got beast, comma, medium, and then beast, comma, large, and then beast, comma, large. Cool. And I think what I want to try to do, and just see how I like this format, is do all 3 of them mostly at the same time and see how it goes. So let's jump into our values next. So this is where we're going to need the calculator that Muzu sent me. So give me just a second to find that. All right, so jumping over to the calculator to get what our stats are, I'm going to clear all of that. So with a beast that is CR1, we're going to start with our grunt. And our grunt is going to be attribute points of 12. So we're going to start with the things that we don't care about, because we want this to be somewhat, somewhat realistic. We're going to say it's very unintelligent, moderately wise. We also are going to assume that our regular wolf is very dexterous, but not super duper strong. So we're going to try 10 for strength, 12 for dex. And then this is going to be Constitution. I was thinking 12. That puts us too high. If I bring it down to 10, can we do negative strength? No. Can we go even less wise? Cool. All right, we're going to say that this is good. So with our 12 points, we've got 10 strength, 12 dexterity, 10 constitution, and then 6, 9, 6 for the rest of it. So 10, 12, 10, 6, 9, 6. HP is 10. Oh, nope, sorry, that's the wrong one. 10, 12, 10, 6, 9, 6, which is going to give us a modifier of 0, 1, 0, -2, -1, and -2, which I think is fine. We don't really need anything too much better than that. So now we can calculate in here what those numbers are going to be. So 10, 12, 10, 6, 9, 6. And then what else can we do from this information? So our hit points is going to be 3d8 plus 0. So our HP 3d8 is going to be 24 divided by 2 is 12. Our armor class, I think we're going to keep at a cool 10, and then we'll deal with it later. Damage reduction, it has none, if I believe. Don't remember where damage reduction is. Oh, damage reduction is based on size. Haha. All right, so because we have medium, our damage reduction is 0. AC gets no change. Its HP is a D8, and it's normally 4d8, but because it's a grunt, it's going down to 3. So all of that works out to 0 here. Proficiency is still 2, and its initiative is going to be 1 because of that 1 bonus to dex. Then we're going to jump over and we're going to work horizontally. So now we're going to jump to look here at our soldier. So our soldier is going to get an extra 16 points, or sorry, an extra 4 points. So I want to put 2 more in Constitution. And then maybe 1 more in wisdom because we'd like it to not have a negative perception. So 10, 12, 12, 6, 10, 6. And I am running on the assumption that I'm going to use my dexterity instead of my strength to modify my attacks because that is a thing that you can do with some creatures. And I think that that makes sense. 6. And then we're still going to be on a 10 now. And then that's going to be a 6. So our bonuses here are going to be 0, 1, 1, -2, 0, -2. Our HP is now going to be 6d8. So that's going to be 48 divided by 2 is 24. Our AC, I'm just going to give it a bonus of 1. We have no change here. Oh, actually, you know what? I forgot. For our dire, we're doing, or for our main wolf, we're doing a large creature. So this is actually going to be different. So maybe we can go up to 14 here. Yeah, that's what we'll do. Forgot that we made the regular one large. So that's going to make this go up to... Actually, I want the dex to go up to 14. and have it do a little bit more damage. And then now that we've got that, 10, 14, 12. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So 10, 14, 12, 6, 10, 6. And then for our elite, it's going to be up to 25. So I think we're going to give it a little bit more strength, even though we're not going to use it. And then maybe our constitution can go up to 14. No, it can't. Something inconsequential. So 10, 14, 14 for our elite, which I think sounds good. Because again, this is just for a level 1 party. So 10, 14, 14, and then I believe we said 7, 10, 6 this time. So we got plus 7, 10, 6. So we're working horizontally. Then for our bonuses here, it's going to be 0, 2, 2, -2 still, 0, -2 still. Then we can do our HP. And our HP for our soldier is going to be 6d10, which is going to be 30. And then our HP for our elite is going to be 9d10, which is going to bring it to 45. And then our AC, I'm going to leave at 11 for both. And then for a large creature, I believe we do get 1 damage reduction. So that's going to be a little bit helpful. So we've got 1 damage reduction, 1 damage reduction. Our proficiency is still 2 across the board. And then our dex has increased, so our initiative is going to be 2 as well. Canines are usually strength focused. No. Sure. I don't know. We could. My thought is, when I watch the way that wolves fight in League, they do a lot of jump slashing and they kind of jump around a little bit. But I think that doing 12 or doing strength instead, I don't think changes anything from what my brain was doing. So I think that that's fine. All right, so switching everything over to strength instead of dexterity is going to leave us with the same thing, just switched those two around, and everything else seems good. All right, then what is our next step? Our next step is going to be all of our additional stuff, but that is going to bring our initiative bonuses down because this is a 2 and that's a 0 now. So our initiative is going to go back down to 0. That's a 2. That's a 0. All right, everything else should be good. Cool. All right. So now that all of our stats are set, we're going to go into our senses. And I want to take a look at what we did last time for senses. We just did our passive perception. I think that we might have a smelling feature kind of like with the basilisk potentially. But we're going to do just our passive perception. And I'm going to just copy and paste from what the format was last time to make sure it's consistent. And because we have a negative to our wisdom, our passive perception is actually only going to be 9. So we're going down. But we want to say that it's proficient in it, actually. So I think we'll make it 11. And then that is going to be true all the way across because we have the same wisdom stat. Jumps are strength-based. I am not thinking like in D&D stats. I was thinking like what in my head canon, what is the narrative? And I think of wolves as very fast, but I guess the idea would be feline, dexterous, canine strength, and I think that makes total sense thematically. It's just not where my brain went immediately, but I think that it is totally fine to do that. I think that makes sense. For our speed, I think for our small one, we're gonna do 30 feet. But because I think of them as very fast creatures, I also think it's kind of fun to have them be faster than the players. I'm thinking of 35. For now, I'm going to keep it at 30 all the way across because it's only level 1, and if the players want to be able to dash to outrun, I think that that's probably for the best to allow them to do. And then for our skills, I'm thinking athletics, maybe. I think maybe we're just going to do athletics. what do we have here? Here we did stealth. Yeah, I think just athletics is probably going to be all right. And the only reason I gave stealth on the last one is because of the stealth modifier being -1, and I wanted to show that with the dex, it's not actually negative. But I think the likelihood of using stealth is not super duper high, so I'm going to just do our athletics is going to be 1 plus 2, so athletics is going to be plus 3. And then here it's going to become plus 4 because we have a strength of 2. Okay. Then languages. None. Unless you have some kind of language that you're saying all of them speak, in which case you would say that. So we could say wolf if we wanted. Cool. All right. So then we're going to take a look at our XP that we're going to be getting. So we're going to go back up to the top. And then for our level 1 creatures, I think the idea is like canids fight pinning enemies and pushing them and have stronger bites and claws. Yeah, I think that's fair. I totally agree with that. All right, so we've got 9 and 25, 1950, 38, 100. Let's see if I can remember all of that as I put those in. Nope, already forgot. What did I say? 25? Okay. 25, 9, 50, 38. No, 38 goes on the right. I really should just do these one at a time and stop embarrassing myself. 1938. That is what it is. 1938 and 100. Cool. And just again, the XP rates are, if it's taken out by the entire party, they get the collective XP split. And then if it's someone 1v1s it, that is the value that they get. Now for our defenses, last time our defenses had some saving throws, it had some resistances, and it had some condition immunities. I think that for this level of creature, when it's just CR1, I don't want it to have any resistances or immunities, but I am going to give it a strength saving throw. So we're just going to do saving throw of strength, and that is it. And the strength saving throw is going to be +3. And then in the other ones, it's going to be +4, and this also should be bold. And now we are all consistent with our formatting. Whoops, what did I just do? Oh, paste instead of copied. Boom, boom. And this is going to become a 4. This is going to become a 4. Then for our features, this is where we can get to doing some cool stuff. I think that the first one that we absolutely have to do is pack tactics, because wolves fight in packs. So pack tactics, when this creature makes an attack, I don't remember what exactly the verbiage is. Maybe I just copy and paste it from somewhere else instead of trying to reinvent the wheel. Pack tactics. Boom. We're just going to steal theirs. This creature has advantage on attack rolls against another creature if at least fix formatting. One of the attacking creature's allies within 5 feet of the target creature. I think that that's perfect. I think for our lowest level one, I think that's going to be it. I think for our regular one, I'd like to add something else. For CR1, maybe that's our only feature for our level 1 that is combat related, and then maybe we do like Keen Smell as our other one, which is this creature has advantage on perception checks when using its sense of smell. Okay. And then what I know that I want is for the elite feature, I want one that's called 2 heads are better than 1. Just because it has 2 heads, and I think that's funny. 2 heads are better than 1. And then, maybe this creature's second attack is always at advantage, because it is kind of giving itself pack tactics with the way that it can wrap its two heads around something. I'm going to write that, and then we'll see if we like it. Second bite attack each turn has advantage. I think that that's fun. And then I think it's only fair that we give the elite keen smell as well. Okay, so what I tried to do is my average soldier, I think regardless of CR, I want to have at least 2 interesting features. I think for a grunt, it's okay to have less going on, but it should still have something. And then for our elite, I wanted to add something that's kind of like a mini boss move. I think that having something like a pounce action, not pounce and ping, pounce and pin. And I bet that's really similar to what I did over here, isn't it? No. Okay, that's different enough. No, we're going to just call that an action, actually. We're just going to give it a different action. Okay, so we've got our features. I'm satisfied with those. I'm just going to align those upwards so that they're consistent. Our attacks. Now, our attack for our grunt is going to be really, really minimal. And it's just going to be called bite. Now for our bite attack, we have to jump back to our math here. And our attack, we have a henchman, CR1, and all of this is still true. So our average damage should be pretty low. Why are we at 0, but we want a max damage of 6? -1d4 plus 6. We're going to not use the calculator. We're gonna jump back over here. So with our medium beast and our grunt, we want our damage limit to be 4. We are literally just gonna do 1d4. So we have a natural weapon attack, which is melee. It has a plus 1, 2, 3 to hit. Its attack range is 5 feet. It is single target. And then on hit, it's going to deal 3, which is just 1d4 piercing damage. Because you do half and then you round up. Dear 1 piercing damage. Cool. So even if you were just to take on some wild wolves, I guess we should just call it wolf. I'm just going to call it wolf. Just taking on a regular wolf, with the fact that you have pack tactics and you have, 1d4 is going to add up if there are a couple of them and you're taking on 2 per level 1 player. I think that that's going to be pretty good. And then we'll do runes at the end. Now, for our regular wolf, again, because we are only taking on level 1 people, we want to keep it somewhat simple. So for our soldier, I am also going to give it a bite, but I'm also going to give it a claw. And the reason I'm going to give it a claw attack is so that we can differentiate if we wanted to use piercing or slashing damage in case there is some kind of special armor that a player is using. I think that it would be good to have that kind of options around. Okay, so we're going to use the same format, but we're going to up the numbers. And we're just going to copy and paste so that we can use those numbers again. All right, damage table. I don't think that we actually updated that. All right, so for our large beasts now that we are on to the soldier, we can do a little bit more damage. So our max damage for a beast that is large is 1d6. So maybe... but it's on average, and it has the +1 strength. I think for the... So the question I'm asking myself is, do I want it to be 1d4 plus 1 because of the +1 strength here? And I think I'm just going to arbitrarily say that for grunts, I'm not going to do that, but here I am. And then I'm going to leave it as the 1d4, but I'm going to add 2. And that's how I'm going to get to my max damage limit of 6 that I'd like to keep. And then when I have my damage limit of 8, then for our greater Murk wolf, we're going to have 1d6 plus 2. Oh, but it gets 2 attacks. because I'm giving it multi-attack. So I think we're going to leave it at 1d4, but now there's 2 of them. This creature makes 2 attacks with its bite. And then we'll have a second one of those. And then because there's 2 of them, it increases the threat, and we don't have to actually change the damage die. So it's still going to be a +4 now, and then everything else should be the same. And then for our claw attack for our soldier, it's going to be 1d4 plus 2 slashing damage, which is 2 different words. So to recap where we are so far, we've got our wolf, our merc wolf, and our greater merc wolf, a grunt, a soldier, and an elite in a row. CR1 all the way across, where our regular wolf is going to be a medium beast, whereas our merc wolf and a greater merc wolf are going to be large. We have pretty consistent HP, AC, everything all the way across. Because these are large, they've got the damage reduction. We maintained the same general approach for stats, except as it got strong, or as it gets higher level, it gets a little bit stronger and has a little bit more constitution. And then our defenses, we maintain just being a strength saving throw. For features, we have pack tactics for the grunt. Then we add keen smell for the soldier. And then we add 2 heads are better than 1 for the greater merc wolf. And because it's an elite, I do want to add a pounce attack. And the pounce attack is going to be... I think it's going to be the same general format, but we also have to add that the creature is going to jump a bit. And I think we're going to put that up here. So our pounce is going to be a feature. Okay, so if the beast moves at least 30 feet toward an enemy creature, it can immediately make an attack roll, claws, or bite. The enemy creature must then make a strength saving throw of DC 10 plus the beast's strength modifier or be knocked prone. I am going to be consistent with your system. I would like... No, I lied. I am not going to be consistent with your system. I'm going to say or become grappled because I want to add a grapple mechanic to this guy. Beast strength modifier. DC 12. Okay. So if the beast moves at least 30 feet toward an enemy creature, it can immediately take an attack roll, claws, or bite. The creature must make... Cool. And then that means that we're going to get rid of the claw, or the pounce as an attack, and then we're going to give it the claw option. And then, so that since we're adding the claw thing, we're going to say that it can do 2 bites or 1 bite and 1 claw, and either is fine. With the wordings we have and send it to you later. Yeah, having the official stuff would be cool. Because I think the intent here is kind of to do, like, this is how you can homebrew some things. But having the official stuff to either A, use, or B, compare, I think would be really, really helpful. And then for our claw attack, we want to increase the damage also. So we're going to do 1d... No, because it's multi-attack, so we're going to leave it at 1d4. Cool. Don't be consistent, be creative. Yeah, I agree. I just want to make sure that I can show both, and being able to compare, I think, is good. Okay, so to go back to runes, I think because we're fighting in packs, I think Agate makes the most sense because we are amplifying the damage, caused by the creature, not allies. Oh, there we go, Pearl. Enhances other allied creatures. We want Pearl, for sure. So let's go down to Pearl. A creature that possesses the Pearl Pulse is able to choose 1 or more creatures at the start of each round based on their CR, so that the creature gains some benefit. This bonus lasts until the end of the round. It is not subject to magic. A creature can choose itself as the target of its pulse. That's interesting to know. Okay, so let's make sure we're following it. So Runic Pulse is going to be Pearl Pulse. And that means that for there it's 1d6 DR. Okay. So we have CR1, so it's going to be 3 shield, a +1 bonus, and a +2 to damage. Do I get to choose which one? Yeah, and gain some benefit. So I think any of the one. Now, the way that we've formatted our creature examples, if we go to the very top, is we don't actually say anything specific. We just say what the name of the pulse is. 1d4 piercing, 1d4 energy. So let's see what they do there for agate. I think the way that I'm going to do it is I'm going to call it like quantity 1, shield 1, bonus, blah, 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 blah. Oh, that didn't copy both of the things. There we go. Quantity 1, shield 1. No, that's not right. Shield is 3, bonus 1, damage 2. Cool. Ah, I dealt with that poorly. Creative issue making out. Thank you. Okay, so I think the Pearl Pulse does make sense. Is there anything else we can do with the Pearl Pulse? So the number of the creatures that can be affected, so we can do 1 each wolf. Shield is temporary hit points, so it can give 3 temporary hit points. Bonus, additional value in a hit, or it should be on hit, I think. Armor class and skill. Oh, in hit, armor class, and skill checks and saving throws. Wow, that's a bonus to a lot of things. That's pretty cool. And then additional damage dealt by the creature. I love that. I also love that it can affect itself, because then if you're the last one standing, it's not like your rune becomes useless. So then we're going to look at our runic powers. And think which ones make the most sense. So Offspring Elder, no. Presence Eraser, we don't have the stats. Immobile Body, we don't have the stats. Immobile Ensemble Force, we don't have the stats. Bloodlust, we can do. Transcendent Being, no. I think Bloodlust. Did we do Bloodlust last time? I feel like we did. No, we did Immobile Body. Okay, so maybe we do Bloodlust. Maybe Bloodlust. Arcane Suppression, very rare variant, possessing materials either implanted or growing naturally, no. Territorial Outbreak, appears to be slightly larger and more damaged version of its peers. For some creatures, the territory is their place of refuge and sacredness. Many of them prefer to die rather than to have their soil desecrated by invaders. That could be our thing here. Some of them stand out, especially those that use this rune, gaining an outburst of aggression towards invaders. A creature that has the territorial outburst causes it to activate innately every time it enters combat. At the start of each turn, this creature, it recovers the average of its hit die in points. It has... At the start of each turn of this creature, it recovers the average of its hit die in hit points if it has at least 1 hit point. Okay, so I have a D8, I get 5 back as long as I have at least 1 HP. That makes sense. In addition, this creature can choose to enter as a bonus action a state of territorial frenzy for 1 turn, because that's what CR we are. By doing so, the creature gains an additional extra attack as if it had multiple attacks with a weapon. That's a lot when you are CR1. Thanks, Mizu. Whether natural or for every 2 creatures within its territory. So if we've got a big group of them, that gets intense. I love it. So we are absolutely going to go with Territorial Outbreak. And do I need to describe how much it does? No, I just know that I have 1 use of it. Cool. So Territorial Outbreak, 1 use. And do we do that in... Nope, we do a period. Okay. 1 use. All right, so our rune is going to be Territorial Outbreak, which is just so freaking cool. And I think that really, really fits the theme. And I think all of the rest of this gets to be pretty consistent throughout, and we get to copy our runic pulse as well. Just double check in our creature table all the way at the top. Does anything change if we are a different size or a different... Oh, just kidding. CR1 doesn't have a regular rune. Never mind. None runes. For editing purposes, because we're cheating. And then because we are only CR1, we get a runic pulse, but we don't get any regular runes. So our rune is going to be just 1. And then all of that is done. Okay, let's see how we can clean this up a little bit formatting-wise. Just do some things in bold. Make that bold. And then we're going to make sure that these things are all vertically aligned upwards. So we have 3 levels. We've got our grunt wolves, we've got our soldier, and we've got our elite. And we've got beast medium, beast large, beast large. HP is consistently done. Cool. Our attributes and our skills are all good. Our senses are fine. Oh, our passive perception should only be 10 on this one. Oh, no. It should go up to 12 on this one because it has a 0. This is why we check. Speed of 30 all the way across. Athletics 3 then goes up to 4 all the way across. No languages. Our experience we know is good. Strength saving throw is good. Features we're happy with. So I think overall we are good to go. So the thing that I would like to do in the last couple of minutes is just write what would this look like in an adventuring day. If I can type in here. Why can't I type in here? Oh, because it made the text white. That would do it. There we go. Okay, so in an adventuring day, we would have maybe outside, if we have a party of, let's say a party of 4. We want 3 reasonable encounters. So the first one, we want the equivalent of 3. So let's do like 4 wolves, 2 soldiers. No, let's do an easy one. 4 wolves and a soldier. So this would be a very easy encounter. And we're going to call the wolf the Murk wolf. This is an easy encounter. Then we're going, and this is going to be like away from the lair or the wolf's den. Then we have maybe 2 Murk wolves and 4 regular wolves. 4 wolves, 2 Murk wolves. This is our medium encounter. And this is going to be in front of the den. And then inside, we want a hard encounter. So we're going to have our greater Murk wolf. And then that's going to count for 2. And I want a total of a CR of 5 to say that this is going to be very, very difficult. So maybe we do 1 really big guy, a Murk wolf, and then 4 wolves. Or maybe no Murk wolves and just a ton of grunts. I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to do 6 wolves and a greater Murk wolf. Because I feel like in the den, the soldier ones are probably out doing stuff. But inside, I feel like it's the big one who might be working to protect some of the younger ones. So this is our normal adventuring day. And in the normal adventuring day, we're supposed to be able to do like 3 or 4 medium or so encounters. So I feel like if we do an easy one, a medium one, and then a hard encounter in the den, I think that that's pretty good. Now, one of the important things when I am running this encounter, hypothetically, if I notice that my players got their butts kicked in the first or second one, and I know that they want to go fight the greater Murk Wolf, because that's the, the task that they were sent on. That's the quest. I can take away some regular wolves and make this a little bit less difficult. And that's one of the things that's nice about using grunts. If you notice that your players are mopping it up way too fast and you don't have anything else prepped, or you want to throw in an extra thing, you could have a feature, which we might even add, and I'm going to call it Call of the Pack. If this creature... No, I'm not. Not for level 1. I take that back. The thing that I was thinking is it would be cool as a way to make an encounter flexible is if you give a creature the ability to summon more grunts or some minions. So you could give it a thing that's called like Call of the Pack, and then it howls, and then it brings in 2 more wolves or a Murk Wolf to come back it up. But I think that for our CR1 purposes, I think it's fine to just say, keep an eye on how your party is doing, and you can add some more wolves. So I'm just gonna clean up the formatting here. There we go. Ah, that's not what I wanted to do. I don't know why it has this really ugly barrier, and I don't like that. And this is a really good use of time. No, it keeps doing it worse. All right, I give up. Not gonna pretend anymore. Okay, so this is our average adventuring day. And I think that if you were to do this with our players, I think that they would have a very good time. So there's a couple of things that we want to look at for how can we make sure that our players are having a good time. The first thing is there a variety in the things that they are fighting? Even though these are all wolves, there are some things that are different. First, our grunts are very, very small. They're not as big, so they're not going to look as intimidating. And just by making the Murk Wolf large and adding the ability for that keen sense of smell, we have made it a tiny bit more interesting. Now, the chances of the keen smell coming into play is not super high, but you could say that the smell is how it was able to hunt down the party, and maybe the party are the things being hunted instead of the party hunting the wolves. And then we've also given it the option to use a claw attack for some slashing damage in addition to the piercing damage, and I think that that's good. Then for our elite, making it the greater variant, the fact that we have multi-attack now, the fact that we have our pounce ability, the fact that if we are using both of our bites with 2 heads or better than 1, it gets advantage on the second attack. Those are enough things that will change it up that I think that it makes it pretty compelling. And each encounter is not going to be identical, because while they're all going to use pack tactics, sure, you're going to role play, like narratively, 1 big wolf and several small wolves differently than 2 big wolves. Who's the alpha there? Maybe you can have them fighting, always trying to attack the same character, and they're trying to establish dominance over each other when you've got 2 Murk Wolves. The other thing is with our Runic Pulse, we can have them supporting each other. So you could have every single of the smaller wolves, all 6 of your regular wolves, on the top of their turn, use their Runic Pulse to give the greater Murk Wolf bonus damage and a shield and a bonus, and you could do each of those twice because there's 6 of them. And that adds up so much. That means that you could have your greater Murk Wolf each turn having +2 to hit, +2 on its saving throws, +2 on any checks, +6 temporary hit points, and +4 damage. We have just made this greater Murk Wolf so much more lethal. And actually, it can do it on itself, so it can give itself another 2 damage. So if you play the Runic Pulse game correctly, playing a group like wolves can be really, really fun. I think that in 5e, this could be the same thing would be done with goblins. Always fighting in a group, being a little bit sneaky, and I think that that's really, really cool. So I think that we're going to call this a success. I think that we are going to call it here. Yes. Okay. We are going to call it here. I think that we have done a good amount of work. I think that we now have potentially a full adventuring day, a full little adventure, hunt down a greater Murk wolf, take back its 2 heads for the Adventurers Guild, something simple like that. Or you could also make this into kind of what seems like a random encounter where maybe your party has been moving a little bit slow on a journey somewhere and a Murk wolf has started to hunt them, and it's going to try to hunt them down and they're going to run from it and they're going to get cornered in front of the den where it's got the other things. We have some options. I think with the use of pack tactics and our runic pulses, I think that we can do some really cool stuff, especially for that big fight with the elite greater Murk wolf at the end. And again, all of this stuff can be found just on the Runarcana wiki, wiki.runarcana.org, and it's got all of this stuff and more that you can choose from to make some really, really cool monsters. So thank you all for coming. Mizu, I appreciate you as always. You are an absolute treasure, and I appreciate you. And yeah, have a wonderful day. Tell someone you love them, because I promise you they do not hear it enough.